Hey there.
Hi.
Hi,
How y'all doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm doing good.
How are
So
you?
we got I'm great. I'm
Yeah.
great that y'all chose to come in the den. We got Leslie and Naja. I said that right.
Yes, you did.
Boy, I know my daddy proud of me. We'll mispronounce something in a minute. Leslie and Naja. So where are you from, Leslie?
So I'm a military kid, but mostly North Carolina in Fayetteville. Grew up
Yeah.
mostly there. And then I
North
met
Carolina.
Nija in Greenville in school and university.
What university y'all meet at?
Sorry.
East Carolina.
East Carolina.
Go Pirates.
Go
Yep.
Pirates. Fly somewhere. Keep going, baby. And so,
Yep.
Naja, where are you from?
I'm from Raleigh, and I went to ECU for school, where I met Leslie.
So what y'all major in?
The same thing, public health.
Public health. Yep, we met in
Public
class.
health. Huh. What is y'all looking forward to do in that health field?
Go ahead, Nija. You first.
So I feel like my interests are everywhere. Recently, I got into birth work, and so I'm a doula, a birth doula and postpartum doula. But I'm in school at UNC right now to get my MPH in nutrition, and thank you. And um, I want to do health education around agriculture, and
Mhm.
so I feel like my interests are everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Need that. Need that. Thank you. How about you, Leslie?
And I just very inspiring because the agriculture part of public health is what interests me because it's kind of every medicine starts with food, and so a lot of Naja and I are always sharing videos with each other about organic farming and POC farming and farming that has to
Yeah.
do with food deserts and all that kind of stuff. It interests
Right.
me and it interests Naja, which is why I love that we have that in common because like
Mm-hmm.
you're saying our inspiration can be all over the place with public health, but
Right.
we kind of we come together on probably the most important thing, which is what we put in our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, we're going to talk about stuff like that here real soon. I want
Nice.
to say in the next month or so because health is serious.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Hmm.
people,
Yeah.
they looking for help.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor and leave feeling worse than you went because at the same time, they ain't tell you nothing. They ain't even
No,
do
yeah,
nothing.
you leave more confused.
Right. They gave you another man. That's all they did. But I'm going to get into that. So, we are here this month bringing LGBTQ awareness. And what does that mean to you guys? What is the meaning of awareness of LGBTQ?
Yeah. So to be um, LGBT queer, it just means not necessarily not man on woman, or not that sexual, I guess, knowledge, or like those relationships. And I feel like they're so ingrained in our society that even from the chores we do to guys taking out the trash or handling the stuff outside and women being inside, to the pay gap. And it means challenging all of those systems, and not just from who I love and who I want to be with. It's challenging all of those structures, and they oppress everybody, not just queer people. They oppress straight people. They oppress women and non-men as well, through those systems. And yeah, so just seeing those systems and trying to work against them, for our betterment.
Hmm.
So what makes you choose the definition for yourself as what's that word I'm looking for? Basically you saying queer, I mean that's what you choose to be, right? What are the
Yeah.
different meanings of it? Like what's the difference between queer, gay, bi, and Leslie, you jump in whenever you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like the word queer. It's not all the syllables. It's just
Yeah.
one syllable. Um, and it just means that it's different than like the norm per se, of that man and woman like only, those like strict rules.
It's a
And
friend.
then
You're
So
right.
that means that you can go both ways. That's what queer mean, right?
Queer.
yeah,
You could be
You can
anything.
you
You
could
could be
have boy
anything.
today and woman
Yeah.
tomorrow.
You could be anything. And you're right. Nigel, you're right by saying like it's more than just the who you love part. The challenging the systems. It feels like in the past maybe a lot of the fights and battles LGBTQ people were having were on being allowed or being given the space and freedom to love who they want to be. And it feels like in this generation, we've already acknowledged that. Like that's just common knowledge. And now we're trying to challenge the fact that you can be whoever you want to be. And you don't have to fall into one category or the other, like you were saying, Najee. You can be anything you want to be today or tomorrow, yesterday, a month from now. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you guys when you figured out? I think I like girls. Like, where was you at that moment?
Uh,
take us back to the time.
I know, right? Like, what day did I wake up and say, you know what? This might be good for me.
Yeah.
Well, everybody comes to it at a different part in their life, right? Some people, not till they're much older. Some people know the minute that they grow, they begin becoming attracted to other people. They kind of know instinctively. And some people, it's almost as if it was in the back of their head, but they kind of pushed it back because they weren't sure if it was right for them or if that is something that they want. And that's where I fell into it, where growing up, for the most part, physically, emotionally attracted to males. But as I got older, well, I started to appreciate the beauty of women and more than just the, oh my gosh, she looks great as a friend. Like, oh my gosh, she looks great. She looks and then that's okay. And then learning that other people fall in that same boat too, that it's not that you have to like one or the other or that you have to like both at the same time. It's just that you can appreciate both at any time and it's okay. My
So
brother.
you classify as queer as well.
Yeah, yep. I
Okay.
don't even know the exact word for it, where you kind of just you see beauty in both. A beautiful person's a beautiful person. Whatever they have in their pants is whatever they got.
Right.
My brother he's gay. He's only attracted to men, and so growing up, that was always totally cool with me. I mean, I had no concerns or any opinions on it. It's very supportive. My whole family is supportive of it. But I didn't think that I was queer because I was like, well, I don't just like girls. And I haven't dated just girls. I've only ever had one partner. So does that mean that I'm not allowed to say that I'm attracted to the same sex?
Right.
That's just not the case. And I really thank a lot of the people in our generation for giving us the space to be able to say those things and it'd be okay.
Oh, it was not okay.
Yeah.
Like right before y'all came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I say y'all because y'all is different. Not in a bad way. Just, I mean, the whole generation is different. It's like they came out like, who let the dogs out?
Yeah. We're going to
They
challenge
don't
the
control. They
system.
don't know what to do. They don't know what to think.
Yeah.
Not just in the LGBTQ community, in the mental health, in the all different types of people.
Yeah.
Because I go in. So let me get
Oh,
back on
yeah.
track. So how old were you though, Leslie? And then I want to know how old you were, Najee.
Probably 20, 21, around then.
Okay. What about you, Najee?
I feel like I was like way younger. Maybe like second grade. I was always, I was bad, honestly, in school. And like I was really smart, but like I would act up. And so I don't know, like my clique, I would have friends and then I would be like, oh, like I'm just really interested, there's just something that's getting me, about like this one friend that I had growing up, and then like I would go through phases, and I'd be like, okay, so like,
What was that?
yeah, like
Little flutter.
yeah, and I didn't like act on anything, until I was in high school, and then I was like, okay, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at
there's something here.
Mm.
Yeah, and like just like being open, and I'm actually like I feel like there is no like closet, I guess. Like my family, uh well, okay, so like I did end up like telling my mom, but like online and stuff, like with social media, like it's given like the opportunity to just be like, you know, like here's my 2 cents. Like I'm Naja, like I'm bi, and I like public health, like and it wasn't a thing, it's just if family sees it, it sees it, whoever sees it. And then
Wow.
like, but I also think that like it's a privilege of, not being, super masculine presenting. Cause I know, people don't have, to have that ambiguity,
Mm-hmm.
to go back and forth. So I think it's a lot, but I'd say young when I just was really interested, like the girl crushes just weren't, it wasn't like, if like it would be hot. I'd be like, oh,
What?
yeah.
Check this out. How did your mom respond to you when you told her?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was dating a girl, and this was like 2019, so not like long ago. Um, and yeah, like I was kind of worried because like I didn't, tell her like explicitly like, hey, like, something's going on. There was like a point in high school where like I had an experience and I was like super excited about it. And I was like telling my cousin, and she like went through my phone and she like saw like our exchanges, and
Uh-oh.
I thought that she knew. Yeah, like right before New Year's, I was very traumatic. um,
Yeah.
but no, like I thought that she knew, but she forgot, and so I had to
Oh,
basically
God.
like, hey, like, mom, I went in thinking that she knew, like, hey, mom, like, as you know, I like, women and men, and she was like, oh,
Right.
um, and she was just like, hey, like, I support you. She's religious, and I am too, but like, she did say like, I just have some worries and stuff for you. But that she loves me, and we've been fine. So
And
there's
so
that.
that made you feel better, but you had some stress and depression until you got to that point, right? Because you didn't know what she was going to think, how she was going to respond.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like anticipation. But I didn't, I didn't think she was going to throw me out or anything like that. And I also know that that's a privilege, as well, because there are some people who, um, they have done that,
Mm-hmm.
or, been through that. And, you know, there have been people around also who've been queer, and she's been, supportive and stuff of them. My best friend, Nick, he's gay. And so she, she's cool with him. She'll be cool with me.
Mm-hmm.
But, people, there's also that worry that, like, it's fine until it's your own kid.
Right.
So, but she was good, and
And
I'm
what
very
about you, Leslie?
thankful.
How was your mom?
Oh,
Give us a,
they're as open minded as you can get. I mean, they're pretty supportive. They they weren't. I guess it was more of a coming out of a closet situation with my brother because
mm-hmm.
he came out when he was younger, and he was really scared about it. And I think him being the first one to kind of open up that door, essentially, it really did spark a lot of my parents becoming open minded after that. because they grew up in Puerto Rico, which is very Catholic. So the religion part of it, I mean, it is pretty intense. But after that, like during college, I'm like, they weren't shocked, but and both of them know at the same time. But I was like, well, it's not necessary because I'm still with my same partner and he's a male, so they don't really. I guess they don't see it as a, oh well, it don't matter anyways because you're married to a man. But they wouldn't have. Yeah, I'm married. Yeah.
Oh, this is big. I did not know you was married.
Yeah, I got a husband.
Girl, you ain't playing no games. And your husband's all right. Don't have your husband go out here looking for me.
Yeah.
Talk about some, you had my
that's the thing. He's cool with it too. He understands.
Applesauce.
Yeah.
He don't want to get me. All right, he cool. Tell him I said what's up, man.
He's cool. I'll tell him.
Yeah, he's cool.
Major. I didn't know you was married. Okay, that's great. And man, that is, I don't know. You just shot me, but go ahead. You shot me.
Yeah, no, the same kind of reaction he had as my parents had, like, okay, cool, you know, cool.
Yeah, because, you know, it's to men, well, not saying your man, but what I heard is, you know, men enjoy two women. They be like, that's cool, bro.
Well, there's even some men that they let it get to them and they become insecure about it. Some men they don't like competition in that way. But I'm like, well, just like I would be faithful with you with and not have any relations with another man, I wouldn't do that with a woman because I'm faithful to you. So
and that's what I wanted to ask. How are y'all capable of? Well, I know how you capable of it now, but how do you date women and men? Then somebody get jealous, and next thing you know is killer couples.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a new kind of dating field in this generation, right?
Definitely.
So how you go about that? Nah, just because Leslie ain't cheating dating.
Yeah, I'm not on the market.
Oh, so I had like a streak of men, and then I started dating the one girl in 2019, and that like triggered me coming out, and then I tried to sleep with a couple more men, and then it just wasn't doing it for me as like well. And then also like emotionally, it was a lot. And so, yeah, like I've just been dating women, and it's been good. I feel like emotionally the connection I have is more, but now like, I don't know, like it makes me question like, you know, am I more bi or am I gay? And I don't know. So that's why also like giving myself space, you know, to decide like, you know, you don't have to label it down to the T. It's not like, you know, you bi gay, you know, it's, you know, whatever.
So what is the part that's hard for you to get used to as far as, and then I might have not really liked it? Is it the strap on from the meat, or how does that go? Just asking in general, because strap on gotta be different than meat. I don't know how it goes, but plastic.
I feel like, you know, every partnering experience is different, and so it's really, you know, good to have just like an arsenal of like tools and things to like help the experience. I saw this one TED Talk, and they were like, you know, people view like sex and stuff like a game of baseball, like, you know, first base, second base, like all that stuff. But like really you should view it like pizza. And, you know, it's, you know, I can go for some pizza. Oh, what kind of pizza? I would like, do you want pepperoni, mushrooms, olives? You can like, you know, spice it up like as many or as little toppings as you want. Sometimes the sauce is even different. You know, like just is the crust stuffed? You know, just
is it crust?
Yeah. So like, you know, just
cheese
you know, coming with all your ingredients and your condiments, you know, is, I want to say, the best bet. And sometimes, you know, like with like being a person who has a vagina, like I've heard, on the Twitter streets, people talking about like, oh, like, there's just been all this misinformation about, like what things are supposed to look like, feel like, smell like, blah, blah. And, there's a lot of like, there are big gaps in our education about, ourselves and our bodies. And so, sometimes, using different things, can be better for some people. They say like you wouldn't think to use like a condom on a sex toy, but you if you're sharing them with someone, you should, because getting
Please.
stuff mixed up can cause problems.
Yeah.
Get somebody killed. I'm gonna say it every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like STDs, STIs, and things like that. As in like the women loving women, people with vaginas community, there are less instances of STIs, but there are more instances of people having BV or things like that within that community because
Yep,
they
and it
put
should
condoms
be a
on
new
their sex
strap on
toys.
every time. If you got a new girl, new dude, new strap. Bottom line, or
Yep,
unless you gonna get
and
whipped
put a
with it.
condom on it.
Whatever.
Exactly.
That like and maybe that was just what I'm not sure what if it's changed right now in high school and middle school sex education, but when we were growing up, and maybe it's because we were in the South, they pushed hard on the abstinence, they pushed hard on it and not much of anything else, and even more so or even less so any sex health and safety education for queer people. It was very much a put on a condom, or you're gonna get pregnant. That's about it. We didn't
That's
really.
it.
Yeah, in college was the first time I learned about anything sexual health related, and I learned it in a women's health class. I love my
We took
parents,
it together.
yeah, I love my parents, and they did a great job raising us. But one thing they skipped out on was the sex education part, and I know it's because they had a lot of fear about it encouraging me to be active, because they were teen parents.
That's a good point.
So they very much push against any conversation about it in general in order to try to keep us from thinking about it. But inevitably, we're gonna think about it.
It was more thought about than
Yep.
eating dinner.
Yeah, and then if I don't find it in school through an education class, and I don't learn it from an adult who is knowledgeable and has good information, well, where am I going to look to?
Your
Porn,
friends
Google, friends.
that
Yeah,
don't know no more than you know.
yeah,
That's
yep.
the sad
And
part.
it's like, I don't even know. It's like a mass amount of information you can find online, and probably like 10% of it is factual or helpful.
Well, and depending on where your mind at, because
Yeah.
then they're gonna go to looking at the flicks and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and then they want to go see what that's all about because ain't nobody told them. So parents, I hope y'all hear that. You gotta start doing a little more talking about sex to your kids and let them know what they can catch and how they can catch it.
Yeah. Najim, you made a really good point too about is obviously the safety number one is a big concern, but so knowing yourself and being aware of what your own body likes and doesn't like, appreciates and does not appreciate, because if you don't know how to pleasure yourself in a safe and healthy way, in a way that makes you feel comfortable, then how is someone else gonna know what to try, what not to try, what to approach and not to approach? And it can make relations with other people even more difficult if you don't even know what you like, or they definitely are not gonna know.
Right. How do you make the choice of how do y'all come up with the choice of who the bottom and who the top? That just came to me.
Well, I feel like, again, like having those conversations and like deciding what you like, it's in the same thing. There's some people, they don't like to be touched. Some people they like to please, things like that. And so, just those roles are I feel like they can be fluid or they can be really solid, and just about it's respecting people's boundaries. And sometimes, people who who you say like, I'll never do this, I'm not interested, blah, blah, blah. With the right partner, you
With
might.
the right partner, yeah,
Mhm.
you're right.
And it's just, feeling comfortable with them, and just having those conversations. And I can't stress just having conversations and being comfortable. A lot of, in some communities, there's like high rates of casual sex, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes within that, you lose like those conversations. Just if it's high and by, or you're only going to see them three times or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
it might not be worth it to tell them, hey, like, I might want to try this.
Mhm.
Or you might not feel as comfortable because y'all don't have that,
Connection.
yeah, that connection, that pillow talk after. um and everybody wants to be super out there, or I feel like there's just this big push towards like, quote unquote, like freakiness, but a lot of
Mhm.
that is communication.
Yeah. And maybe because there was a lot of like the freakiness, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't quote unquote allowed or was stigmatized before our generations, that maybe
Mhm.
at this point now us we're like, well, let's explore everything, all of it, because we can and because it should be fine. But Naja, like what you were saying, if you don't have the conversation or at least give each other that communication to know what they like or what you like, then you may miss out on some really some good pleasurable moments. You may miss
Some
out
good
on them.
shit.
You may be missing out
Yeah.
on some good shit. Yeah.
That is funny. Yeah, so to be honest, this is just open space. And it used to be hidden. You might know one or two people that you be like, well, I think he gay. Never say he is gay. It always used to be, I think he gay.
He a little gay
And
or something.
yeah, they would never come out. But now everybody out. I mean, they have
Everybody.
pregnancies, they have
Yeah.
weddings, they having everything. But what's happening is it's hard for the old school to accept and take it in, because they feel like if you gay, you're going straight to hell. That's the first thing. The Lord would not. He would never have you in the gates of heaven if that's what you choose to do. So I want to know what is
Yeah.
y'all's response to how things that went with you in your religion, and how do you believe in the Lord? And
So me personally, I'm not necessarily religious. We grew up Catholic,
mm,
but it was kind of like going through the motions because we had to.
mm,
I have not found my way to a religion quite yet. I am spiritual. I do not think that there's. I do believe there's something bigger than myself. I don't know
mm,
what it is. I have to give myself the time to explore it. And a
mm,
lot of my fear towards those religions as they are right now is my fear of the closed-mindedness of it, of the
mm,
you can't be this, or you can't love this, or you can't do this if you want to be part of this specific religion, almost like a club.
Yeah.
And if you
mm.
don't follow the rules of that club, well, you're not welcome in that club. But I
Right.
don't think that applies across the board with spirituality, which is why I don't assign myself to a religion. But I do think that whatever it is that's bigger than me that created this or allowed for all of these things to happen, well, they had a reason and a cause and a purpose, and we are the way we are because we're supposed to be. So
Mm,
that goes for everything from queer people, straight people, non-binary people, everybody.
mm,
So religion is something that I feel like because of its very racist, very homophobic, very all of the phobias. In
mm,
the past, it has put a bad taste in my mouth about it now, and I know that's not fair because not all sections of religion
mm.
are that way. I just have to kind of find the ones that are not, and then I'll
Right.
get to them when I get to them.
Right. All right. And I tell you what, I say this because how I am, and I heard everything you say, but I still want to say God bless
Thank you.
you. Yeah. Now, how
Thank
you
you.
feel, Nigel, about the religion piece?
Yeah, it was a struggle for me at first. Like, I guess like during high school, like after my first experience and stuff, just like, putting it all together. And I feel like, I'm God's child. God loves me. And, I have a relationship with him, and that's what matters. And he's not gonna say that he didn't know me, like, and that's the thing, So, I still pray, and I am looking for a affirming church. There's a few in the Raleigh area, where I'm from, and I'm interested, like, within partners, looking for people who are equally or similarly yoked with me in that way. Yeah, and so it's kind of just like reading, and gender and sex in the Bible, like it wasn't the same. Like, they had different meanings, and so similarly, like how we're like defining or redefining what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, like they had all, like, they were intersex people in the Bible, but they call them different things, and it's just like it was just so much more than I feel like the common public has like knowledge to, and things have been hidden, and so I feel like, who's to say that's where I'm going when I have a relationship with the Lord, and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's where I stand.
Well, you know what? And I'll tell you the same thing. God bless you too. We
Thank
got to
you.
believe in whatever it is we believe in through it all. And so y'all are free. Y'all combined it, and religion and what you believe in that piece has nothing to do with it. Y'all both seem like beautiful people.
Thank you.
You seem like very happy. And it seems that y'all have some type of resource or outlet. See, a lot of people don't have outlets or resources, and a lot of people, committing suicide over not knowing how to come out, not knowing how to, say to their family, hey, I'm fighting with this, I'm facing that. So what would be y'all's advice for these young people that's coming up when you felt this since 2 years old, since second grade? I heard of someone kindergarten, and you just started at 21, what would be y'all's advice?
Leslie, do you want to take this one first?
Sure. Okay. So advice is like how you mentioned about finding your support. You can find it somewhere. It doesn't have to be blood. It doesn't have to be like your family. It could be your friends. It could be the people that you meet by chance that you find community in. And to the piece about spirituality and religion, a lot of times you can find God's best creations in another human being. And maybe that other human being is what you need to keep you from going over the edge, or becoming, depressed, or allowing your mental health to get very bad, or people need people. And if there's one thing I will say about the church is you have community there. There are people there who love you and want to see you happy and do well. And if you have that, you're almost guaranteed to be able to survive through a lot of mental health concerns and issues. So I would say find your people, and that doesn't mean that don't have to be your school, your classroom, that don't have to be church. You don't have to be at home. It could be anywhere. Reach out, and we're very blessed to have the ability to find people from any part of the world at this point with the internet.
Right.
We can reach out to a lot of people who have either the same concerns as us, the same problems, same dreams. Like me and Aisha, we have a lot of the same dreams.
Yeah.
And we share that with each other, and it not only inspires us, but it uplifts us. And that's what we need, because this world is rough. It is hard. And I know that we are very privileged in a lot of ways, depending on, your background and whatnot. But life is hard, and you need people.
Yeah, you do.
Find your people.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah. I completely agree. I would say, like, from a practical standpoint, if you don't think that you have support from your family and you are depending on them for financial support, I would wait until you have financial support. Just from like a safety standpoint, because again, like we are really privileged, and like I don't want someone to just feel like hey, let as beautiful as you know the moment should be, is equally like as ugly as it can be, if depending on where the parent or whoever is mentally and emotionally. um so like with that being said, just um finding someone that you trust. People say like blood is thicker than water. That's not the complete quote. It's the blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb, which means it's the people, in queer and in gay spaces, we talk about chosen family, and it's just like adoption, basically, the equivalent, like I'm choosing to be your friend, your mother, your dad, your whoever. I'm choosing to be like your play cousin for real. Like, and they stick by that, and just looking and seeing if you have like that, anybody like that in your life, looking online, just.
And it's groups online, right? So, because, let's say I just want to tell somebody, so I can't find nobody. Tell me if this wrong for me, sir. Go to www.groups for gay people. Just that simple, right? Or groups for queers, or groups for bisexual. Just that simple, right?
Yeah, they have I like the Lex app. That's one for non-men. And that meaning like non-binary, women, anybody, cis or trans or whatever. Yeah, that one's a really good one. And you can choose to be, friends, or this is not an ad, but they have a really good Instagram page to help like explain their app more. But like, you can choose, friends or more or whatever, which is really nice to set the pace. I also like, I'm in a sports group, Stonewall Raleigh. And Stonewall Sports I want to say it's international or not. Anyway, it's all over the United States. And it's a sports league. And so, I mean, it may not be like, plenty of, people that you're, expecting to, it might not be like just like you, but, not everyone's going to be just like you.
The safe
And
place.
so, yeah, just come and play sports, play kickball, play dodgeball, softball, whatever. And then, also like again through like Instagram, like, just tagging and just like, don't be afraid to make a friend.
Right.
A lot of times too, some people have on just even the regular apps their gender orientation and their sexual orientation in like the bio thing. And so like there's one app, Bumble. When I first moved here to Texas, I'm looking for friends. I'm like, well, how do you find friends when you're not in school anymore? You don't know anybody.
Right.
But you're scared to approach random strangers. Well, on there you can put, hey, I'm queer, or hey, this is how I identify. I love this, this is that. And you can meet people that way. On Facebook, the way that I find different protests and demonstrations going on in locally, I'll type in the city. I'll be like El Paso women's rights, El Paso LGBTQ rally. And in that event, when you attend, other people that are attending that event think like you, or they at least have some similarities. Like Nigel said, they may not be exactly like you, but you never know. You might find your best friend there, or you might find your partner.
Right. And man, I appreciate y'all coming in the den because it just came to me. I hope to God I said, welcome to the den. But I want to thank you for coming in the den. This has been really good awareness. And y'all are very smart young ladies. Keep on going. Keep on encouraging everybody that you can. Call somebody and tell them that you love them as soon as we get off of here, please.
Will do.
And come back to the den again. And let me think one more thing, because every time before I eat, let me tell you what I always say. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we absent, one from another. Can my visitors say for me? Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Listen, thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Leslie, you froze, but I'm going to say amen for you. How about that? Look at you. Bye, girls.